days, we have been marching with the migrants. It has been also an internal journey for us all. The migrants are persons moving from one place to another within his or her country or abroad, temporarily or permanently, in order to find work or better living conditions. Migrants could be free or forced or even smuggled. Today, we have 272 million migrants in the world, and 48% of them are women. The migrants make up 3.5% of the global population, and there are another 70 million displaced people and 41 million internally displaced people. And we too have 26 million refugees and another 3.5 million asylum seekers. All have roots elsewhere by trying to survive and keep moving. If we go through the memory lane, we could see that the migrant's gene is in us. 1.75 million years ago, Homo erectus started their movement from Africa across Eurasia. Around 1750 before Christ, Joseph went to Egypt. In the 13th century before Christ, Israelites wandered in the wilderness for 40 years towards their promised land of Canaan. And the diaspora of the Jews, whether it is the Assyrian exile in 722 BC or Babylonian exile in 597 to 538 BC, all have been to show that people have been on the move. The greatest migration could be in 4 BC, that is, Jesus coming down from heaven to earth to be with us. The world today is full of migrants. 1500 years ago, before Christ, the Aryan migrants came into India via Indus Mountains. 10,000 years before Christ, the Dravidian migration took place towards the south, and South American colonization and migration took place in the 15th century. The migration to the USA took place in 1620 with the Mayflower ship landing in Plymouth near Boston. We are also migrants. We might have been born in different places, educated again somewhere else, and settled once again perhaps in different places. In the mid-20th century, the refugees started coming into various countries. The migrants, they are not simply moving and disappearing, they also could make very rich contribution to the society. Think of Einstein, Mother Teresa, Tesla, Pulitzer, Kissinger, and so many people who have contributed greatly for the growth or enrichment of the society. The Jesuits have been all the time alert and open to help people in need. In November 1980, the former general of the Jesuits, Father Pedro Arrupe, founded the Jesuit Refugee Service, JRS. The purpose was and is to accompany, serve, advocate for the need of the refugees, and this is the humanitarian aspects. In 2010, the Jesuit Worldwide Learning offered online higher education through online education. I have been the vice president of it before coming to Loyola. Today we have the operations in India, Europe, USA, African countries, and also Afghanistan and other places. But coming to the coronavirus pandemic, it is an unprecedented challenge. It is a failure of scientific research because so far we have not found the right vaccine or medicine to treat this disease. Even the Oxford that came up with the vaccine for coronavirus is found to be good for pneumonia, and the rapid test kits we got were found to be faulty. Still, we are looking when the medicine would be available or when the vaccine would be on the market to help the people. We started with the fear, we underwent frustration, and slowly we are trying to be in getting into the realm of feasibility how we can live. We have been moving from panic to peace of mind, and we are trying to find meaning in what is happening around us. In this context, the Jesuit Chennai province responded to the need of the migrants and the other needies. The Jesuit Migrant Service at Loyola College, Chennai, and the Jesuit Ministry to Migrants External have been at the service of the migrants. The migrants from the Northeast, Bihar, Odisha, Jharkhand, West Bengal, and UP have been in Tamilnadu, and they have been helped in shelters in Chennai, especially at Coimbatore and Chepak. We have been offering humanitarian helps, education, as well as legal aids. And the COVID 19 rapid response was in two phases. The second phase started from the beginning of May. The South Asian Assistancy of the Jesuits under the watchword We for Migrants offered online retreat to reflect our life in coronavirus background. And the Jesuit Chennai province established the Disaster Management Committee to look into the needs of people. And Loyola College Society, through Helping Hands Loyola, have helped so many people. The help extended has been to migrants. So far, 2,165 families have been helped with dry rations, that is, rice, dal, oil, spices, which would come to at a rate of 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 per packet. And the friends of Loyola FM radio, mainly transgenders, have been helped. The number has been 242. And the social work department of Loyola College has helped 925 families of domestic workers and widows. And the province has been at the service of the needy among the tribals like Urulas, Uralis, and Trumbas. And the Jesuit Migrant Service has been reaching out to the brick chamber workers and gypsies. So far, 589 families have been helped with the dry rations. Some of the families have left. So far, about 80 migrant families have left for their hometown, and another 189 are getting ready to go, and we are trying to help them to reach the train and to make their journey comfortable. And the chemistry department in Loyola and the ERI Research Center have been developing sanitizers and testing kits for the people. Loyola College has also offered moral boost. The counseling from Chennai Corporation, headed by the faculty members and volunteers from Loyola, the YouTube program, how to handle the family, especially the children in this lockdown situation, and Loyola College helpline helping the students in their needs, and the administration contacting the staff members just to say hello, how you are. All these things have been very much appreciated. And I very much appreciate the heads of the institutions keeping in touch with the staff, students, and the parents. We still have demands to meet. The Loyola campus has been taken over by the Chennai Corporation for testing and quarantining people. They are here coming in and going out, and people are helped to reach their places, and their children are helped with education in 6 centers, especially the children of those who are working in brick chambers. We are helping the migrants through lobbying, accompanying them, and doing advocacy for them. And the resources for all these helps have been from you, mostly alumni and Jesuit funding. And the contribution of the staff, parents, and students are to be acknowledged. And other agents like the World Vision, Action Aid, and some individuals like Dr. Renuka, David, and others have been helping us. It has been an expression of solidarity, both in kind and cash. At this point, we have a lot to learn from the migrants. The migrants had just 4 hours to decide, and they had just 4 hours to act. They had to make the hard decisions to go home, which are thousands of kilometers away. They started going on foot. The way was not known, no food. They started walking or cycling. But all the time, we appreciate their being together, the family bonding, and the help from their own home and relatives to make them reach home, the love and affection we have to learn from them. You could see how they are carrying their elderly and their children, and some are being grateful to their animals. They take the animals also with them. Of course, some have been crushed to death on the highways and on the railroad, but what we find in them is the resilience to go through hardships. They have inner strength and external obstacles, but they hope for the better. We are educated, but they are learned. They have learned in their lives a lot of things, and that is why they are able to handle their life better. They have a purpose to live, and that is why they are on a long march. Let us respect the migrants. In the Bible, time and again, we read, "You were migrants in Egypt." And in the New Testament, St. Peter reminds us we are sojourners on this earth. The inhuman suffering of the migrants. When we look at it, we see on the one side the ignoring government, on the other side the silent God, and still the silent march goes on. We have learned the lessons in ourselves, in our lives too. That is, life is possible with fewer things. Life is possible in confinement and quarantine, but we have learned, we have felt the need for people. We need to stay in touch. We need communication. We need to build up lasting and meaningful relationships. We need to grow right now from panic to peace of mind. So, where do we go from here? As academics, we need to concentrate on preventive research. Let us research what are the root causes of the migrants' problems. Let us also find out what are the viable solutions, the education of the migrants and their empowerment. In this context, science and humanities have to come together. We need outreach program, that is mass education on general hygiene and entrepreneurship. We need to have new perspectives when our students come back to us. We have to see their world from their perspectives. As teachers, we should be catalysts of peace and harmony. Socially speaking, we all are migrants, whether temporary or permanent. Economically, some are seeking greener pastures, perhaps some have already found the pastures. As universal citizens, we are not walking alone. It is no individual problem, it is the world's problem. As people of faith, we are all co pilgrims on this earth, marching towards God or our happiness. Let us learn from the migrants. They may be economically utterly poor, but in love they are filthy rich. And at this point, let us ask ourselves the Ignatian Trinitarian questions. What have I done for the migrants? What am I doing for the people on the road today? What could I do when I meet with a migrant? After all, at the end of the day of our lives, not our degrees, riches, and powers would matter, but our concern for others, our love and care for others. At the end of the time or end of our lives, when we meet the Lord, we would like to hear Him say, I was hungry, you fed me. I was thirsty, you gave me drink. I was naked, you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was a stranger or migrant, and you welcomed me. This is what makes our life meaningful.